It sounds like a dream come true, coming from nowhere, thrust onto a national stage, becoming a household name, and then a future full of fame and fortune. But 2003 Australian Idol winner Guy Sebastian says there are many downsides of instant fame. As Susan Cooper reports, Guy's managed to survive his bulk to stardom, but others haven't been quite so lucky.
I can clear a lot of myths up right now, I guess. The reality is definitely not what people read. I mean, I read the other day that I live in a mansion in Palm Beach.
You'd be forgiven for thinking these talented young singers had it made.
Guy Sebastian.
A lucrative recording contract, chart-topping sales and nationwide adoration. It appears to be an enviable lifestyle, but there is a downside, and often it's personal.
There's dudes who hate me. There's been guys who just hate my guts.
In Adelaide, promoting his upcoming show, former Idol Guy Sebastian spoke candidly about the harsh realities of the pop music industry and what that means for singers like last year's winner Casey Donovan, who charmed a nation but now struggles to sell a record.
Maybe one reason is, she was kind of grungy and killing Heidi and that type of thing on the show, and then released Listen With Your Heart, which kind of is a Diane Warren written track, which is a Whitney type ballad, and probably didn't suit her very well, so it wasn't the greatest platform for her.
The 16-year-old's second single failed to make an impact, and there's now speculation there won't be a third. Her label, Sony BMG, has since come under attack, accused of turning its back on the Idol winner and instead pouring its resources into runner-up Anthony Callea, whose sales have been stronger. But as Guy will tell you, hey, that's business.
If you're in charge of a business and you've just released a product that hasn't been selling well, say you release shampoo that just made people's hair dry, and then you release this other shampoo that is like everyone loves it. This is a bad example. but you're not going to keep putting money into that crappy shampoo knowing it's not going to sell. You're going to think, oh wow, let's promote this shampoo that everyone seems to like. It's unfortunate and it seems unfair on Casey's level, but on an industry level, no one cares about how you feel.
What he's done is join what we call the disposable pop market. Today's pop hero is next week's failure.
Adelaide music guru David Day says many young hopefuls who audition for shows like Idol and X Factor are blissfully unaware of just how vulnerable they can become.
I think a lot of these people just entering into the contest as well think, wow, if I get through, I'm going to be rich and I'm going to be famous.
Fame, yes. But when you've put your fate in the hands of a market that loves you one day, forgets you the next, fortune is a little harder to come by.
How can I go home and not get blown away?
Remember Cosima DeVito. She's now one of the forgotten, fallen idols. Her parents mortgaged their house to pay for her Los Angeles-produced debut album, but it flopped. Now she's not only paying off that debt, she's also being sued by 2 former managers. But Guy's been luckier.
Like for a record company, they take all your costs, they pay for everything, and you never have to physically pay stuff back, but it comes out of basically your share of what gets sold album-wise. And if you don't sell a lot of albums, then you don't make any money off the album and you end up with a debt, like an unrecouped debt. It's not something like when the contract's up, you have to pay that debt. You have to go, oh, here's Sony, here's that check, They take a risk, I guess, and they, they put the money into the project. And if it doesn't sell, then they don't make money.
And neither does the artist, a situation Guy happily admits he's so far managed to avoid. It may not be a mansion, but the boy from Golden Grove can lay claim to this $1 million sea view at exclusive Palm Beach in Sydney, and has been given the green light for a 3rd album.
I've been blessed financially. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm poor and be embarrassed that I'm blessed. I'm
Are you rich?
I wouldn't say I'm rich, but I'd say I'm lucky, I'm blessed.
And while Guy puts his success down to talent and songwriting ability, others take a more cynical approach.
So I think it's the people around him, besides just being Guy. You'd have to have good guidance. If you don't have good management and good guidance, and if you don't blow everything at once, then you can map out your future.
And speaking of good partnerships, for the record, Guy still has no plans at this stage to marry long-time girlfriend Julie Egan, though he does admit to her being the one. And unlike Britney Spears, he's holding true to his word, but it's not easy.
I'm like any other bloke, you know, you want to do the whole Fandango, and so, yeah, it's kind of, it's tough, but it's something I believe will pay off in the end.
Put your own away, 'cause that's way too much to bear.